Today we're going to look at two-step inequalities. And so I want to show you how I would solve a two-step inequality. We're going to continue the same way we would if it was an equation. The less than or greater than symbols are really where the equation part is. So this is where you're going to draw your line down. And now we're going to solve it like a regular two-step. So you're going to go ahead and add 1 to both sides. And then you're going to divide by 2. And you're going to end up with x is greater than 5. Now, just like in all of the other equations that we've graphed, you need at least 3 numbers on the number line so that everyone knows that you know how the number line works. So I usually start with the answer in the middle, and then I put one smaller and one larger. It does not have an equal to line underneath it, so I'm going to put an open circle, and I'm going to have the arrow pointing in the greater than symbol. Notice that the symbol and the end of the arrow match when the letter is first. So I'm going to do the same thing for the next problem. I now have subtract 1, subtract 1. We divide by our 2, and we have x is less than 7. So again, I'm going to put the 7 in the middle, and I'm going to put an open circle with an arrow going in the less than symbol direction, so that the less than and the end of my arrow match. So those are just some basics just to kind of get you started again in your brain thinking about equations and inequalities. And so now we're going to work on a couple ones that are a little bit more tricky because either the letter is starting on the right, or my letter starts on the right and it's negative, or I just have a negative. So those are kind of some unique situations where I have to do a little bit of extra step. The solving part is still the same. You're still going to draw your line down, you're still going to go ahead and work them out, and then we're going to divide by our 1/5, which tells me the answer here is 10, and I have 10 is greater than or equal to x. Now, this says 10 is larger than my answer, or equal. So I'm still going to start with 10 here, and I'm still going to go with a smaller number and a larger number on both sides of it. I also know that there's an equal to line, so the beginning step would be to go ahead and color in that dot. Now, some people have a little bit of tricky because if they're relying on the symbol and the end of the arrow to match, it only works if the x is in the front. And so if I want to rewrite this one, this is the same as x is less than or equal to 10. So let's just think about it. Over here, an answer that would work would be 1. 10 is greater than 1. True. Will 1 also work over here? Is 1 smaller than or equal to 10? Yes. So flipping the symbol when you move the x to the opposite side is required. Unlike when you have an equal problem, you can put it on either side and it doesn't matter. So again, if I want to use the symbol to help me match up, I have to put the x first. Or I have to know that I want numbers that 10 are larger than, which would imply that I want the 10 to be the very largest and all the numbers to be on this side. So let's go ahead and try another one. Again, the solving of the equation part is the same, whether there's an equal sign or less than or greater than symbol. So the beginning piece is the same until I divide by a negative. When I'm dividing by a negative, we learned that you need to do a flip. So that would change this symbol right here to be a less than. And then this would be a -6. So I have done a flip because of this negative sign right here. Now I also am going to go ahead and do the -5 would be on this side this time, and -7 would be on this side, so that the larger numbers are here and the smaller numbers are here. And so what I'm going to do is put an open circle because there's no less than or equal to sign. And -6 is smaller than my answers. So that means I could put a number like 10. 10 is definitely going to be larger than the -6. If you would like, you can rewrite it so that it makes more sense in terms of the way your arrow is going. But either way, I know that I want positive numbers in my answer, and therefore my arrow needs to point to the right. So we're going to finish this last problem. It has a little bit of everything in it. It has a negative, It has a fraction, which tends to throw people off, even though it shouldn't. And we have 30 take away 12, which would give me 18. And then we will divide by -1/4, which is really the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. And because I just multiplied or divided by a negative number, that is where my negative flip comes in. So I'm going to switch that from a greater than symbol to a less than symbol. And so then I'm going to take 18 times 4, which is going to give me 72, and it is negative. And so we'll just go ahead and put my -72. You don't have to go in order. You could very easily have come over here and put a 0 and a -100. Anything that lets me know that you understand the way the graph works. And so again, it has an equal to line, and so I'm coloring it in, and it is numbers that are smaller than -72. So clearly I want to go on the -100 side. So that just gives you an example of how to work problems when both they are straightforward and are exactly what they say they are, or when you see problems that are on the opposite side, or if they are a negative, how to handle that. So, like I said, great job today. Keep up the good work.